surely been an eventful time in Parliament, and I'm sure Brexit's dominated much of your activity there as well. How have your first 2 years been?
Well, thank you very much, Aran, for having me, and such a great settings of Sikh Temple here in Warrington, which I often visit, so it's great to be here. Yeah, of course, it's been very, I would say, a roller coaster. I mean, with regards to Brexit, it has been a massive issue, as we all know, national issue, and of course, dominant in local politics as well. But it has been very divisive, you know, so it's quite sad that, because I came into politics to make a difference, and, you know, and I'm doing a lot of work with my constituents at the moment, and trying to resolve their issues, and which is happening. And that's the thing, you know, it's so important, you know, in life when you make a difference to somebody's life, and Brexit has taken over everything.
You spoke about the division there. Do you think we as a country can unite from this division once again, or do you think it's gone too much?
Well, of course we can unite, and you know, we are a great nation, and we will come back together, absolutely. But at the moment, of course, you know, Brexit is such an issue which is so much divisive, and also division is not just, divisions are in one house. I mean, you know, husbands not agreeing to wife, and, you know, kind of thing within the communities, you know, and then the whole nation is divided. Until we resolve this Brexit issue, it'll be very difficult to move forward. So that issue needs to be tackled very carefully. And you know, Aran, I must say that, you know, it's been 2.5 years since the Conservative government, Prime Minister Theresa May, is dealing with it, and it's making a mess of it. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, that the Labour, you know, I mean, the thing is, people need to understand what Labour can do. We are in opposition. We weren't negotiating this with the European Union. It was the Prime Minister Theresa May and the Conservative government. It's created the whole mess by the Conservative government.
Do you regret, I mean, Labour's position on Brexit? Do you wish it had been a lot clearer earlier in the process?
I mean, Labour's position has always been to respect the referendum result, and we must do that because this is democracy, and I believe in that. We must deliver on Brexit, but at the same time, it's again saying last 2.5 years has been totally wasted. You know, what Prime Minister should have done is, when she got elected, well, she's not even elected, but, you know, in 2017, of course, she should have created a Brexit task force, right, involving all the political parties, and making them as part of the negotiation. So then you could have some kind of consensus within all the political parties. But she's gone totally out of way on her own, and after 2 years she brought in that kind of botched deal, which even Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson saying that it's better to stay in the European Union rather than accepting this deal. So the whole time has been wasted. So what Labour Party do? You know, we can't bring any legislation legally into the Parliament because we are in opposition.
Has the issue of Brexit made it more difficult for yourself to raise issues which are focused on other matters such as homelessness, mental health, for example? People are calling for a lot more to be done on those matters. But has it made life more difficult as a politician to get your voice heard when you're speaking about something else?
Of course, we all know that the Brexit has taken over most of the time and attention. And when you talk about homelessness, I mean, there is massive issues about school funding, NHS funding, and you can see what's happening in Warrington and Halton Hospital Trust today and yesterday. So yeah, it doesn't take that much attention, and it becomes difficult as well because the Parliament is mostly talking about over the last year, 2 years is Brexit. And now there is nothing major legislation going through the Parliament as well until we resolve this Brexit issue.
And just back to the issue of division, I mean, obviously we've seen a lot more hate crime taking place, although the police do say mechanisms to report hate crime have improved as well. Do you believe that religious sites such as Sikh temples, such as mosques, need to increase security in light of this division?
I think we should be extra careful, of course, because every life is very important. And in terms of being extra careful doesn't mean that, you know, we just, you know, go out of the and then start having, you know, security guards and police presence or because it is impossible as well at the same time. I mean, our country is quite, you know, acceptance is there. Especially our town is quite, nice and everything. We're more integrated as well. We have to be vigilant. That's what I would say, is rather than having improved security. We just have to be more vigilant. Cheshire Police has been very good. They have been coming to mosque and temple, regular visits as well, and that's all fine.
How do you deal with trying to please every constituent? Because it's obviously an impossible task, but that must leave you with some very, very tough decisions.
Well, a very good question actually. I used to get really upset when I become MP, and I saw actually, when I was the mayor of Warrington was totally different.
Yeah.
When I was the councillor was also different. When I become MP, and then I totally saw people, comments totally changed, because it's like a national politics. And then I didn't realize until actually it hit me. And I thought, oh no, that's not good. People are, talking too much negativity and all that kind of stuff. And somebody said to me that, look, you are now a mainstream politician, right? You have to be a thick skin. Otherwise, you will get ill, And I just got that in my mind.
Yeah.
And then most of the comments, I read, and I just think, I rather have conversation with those people. And I've offered a number of times to my constituents or anybody who's putting comments on, mainly it's all abuses on Brexit. So come and speak to me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation. And then what I hear, that will be waste of my time. Well, if you're not bothered to actually have a discussion with your MP, then why you are just putting all the negative comments then, And next week I'm hoping to actually put out an open discussion forum in my office. Anybody wants to talk about Brexit, come and speak to me. I can't be more accessible than that.
Yeah. And obviously social media has helped you massively in terms of that accessibility, but it also does open up MPs to some negative comments and some abuse as well. Have you experienced any abuse, particularly online abuse?
I think what I would say is that personally I've not much abuse, I must say. I'm quite blessed with Warrington. I love Warrington, and the people of Warrington are so nice. And I've not had any personal abuse other than the abuse on Brexit. Yes, I have had. And to be honest, I don't read much of Warrington Guardian's comments anyway. So it's better not to, because if anybody wants to contact you or raise issue, they will contact to me. The different channels they have available, and it's very difficult to get time to just read everything on social media as well. It becomes impossible.
And what are your top priorities over the next 12, 15 months as an MP?
Yeah, so my top priority is that we must deliver on Brexit and get out of this issue. Work with my colleagues, within the party as well. And once that's happened, locally, I'm started campaigning on a new Warrington Hospital. That is absolutely key. Warrington Hospital, we need a new state-of-the-art hospital, more economically as well, because at the moment I think millions of pounds they are actually wasting on the existing buildings to just maintain in a year, and we definitely need more in a central area where everybody, the whole of Warrington, can access. Then of course local plan is a big issue. We need more facilities in the south of the Ship Canal as well. We had a really great Sankey Hub, absolutely brilliant. I visited that. Something like that I need here in south of Ship Canal as well. So homelessness is increasing, so we must have more funding from the central government, which I'm fighting for, to provide more for the social housing. A council can't build social housing, and we had a housing summit, and that was very clear in that whose responsibility is to build social housing. So school education is the massive issue. Warrington is one of the lowest paid for funding for schools. That needs to improve. And of course, NHS, locally, so hospital, and we'll keep going.